All right, what's going on, my social media family? So today I am making a part 2 video of my response to Dr. Umar Johnson, specifically addressing interracial marriage, his views on interracial marriage. So I'm just giving a response. So my response is a little bit different. When I respond, it's not to challenge, debate, or condemn Dr. Umar's views. It's more to ask questions to get a deeper in-depth understanding, and also present another perspective that Dr. Umar might not be aware of himself. So I'm going to give you this new perspective, and I hope this reaches you. I am hashtagging you, by the way, on your channel, and I hope it reaches out. So let's get into it. So Dr. Umar made a comment about interracial marriages from African diaspora people, and basically he's saying that they do not gain his respect because they cannot be for the Pan-African movement that he presents if they're marrying someone who's not African. So I think his views are applicable to people that are celebrities and people who have a mentality that they've adopted, unfortunately, of self-hate. So while what he speaks does have some validity, I do not think it's applicable to every single African diaspora person in a intimate relationship with a non-African diaspora person. And I'm going to give you one of many specific examples of how this is true, okay? So before I begin, I'll repeat, Dr. Umar Johnson, I do agree with you when it comes to celebrities and when it comes to the average common person that has adopted the self-hate mentality that has been instituted, unfortunately, with African diaspora people. There are some people who go out and date another culture, and they do it because they're condemning their own, because they had one or two bad experiences and they hate everybody. That is not right. That is not fair. And I do agree with you, Umar Johnson, the self-hate type of people, you know, need to understand that's not cool and that's not right. But when it comes to people who do love themselves, I believe you can love yourself, love your culture, and still take a stand, you know, for what you believe in culturally while you're intimate with a non-African diaspora person. And I'm going to give you a real life example of how so. Now, let's take a military family, okay? Military kids do not have the same type of upbringing as a civilian kid. And what I mean by that is military kids it's natural and custom for you to relocate consistently in the first 18 years of your life. So when you're born in a military family, you might be born in another country, spend time in that country for some years, and all of a sudden your parents get orders to relocate to either another country or back to the States and move from state to state every so few years, right? So what that does is it exposes you to different cultures. It exposes you to different people and different tax brackets. You'll see poor, middle class, rich, and you'll see all kind of cultures. So you have a more open mind. Now, I'm not saying every military kid has an open mind, but the vast majority of them do. All right. So if you take this military kid, and let's just say you have a kid who meets that's African diaspora male and meets a non-African diaspora female, right? Or vice versa. But let's take the male for your argument's sake. And him and this girl grow up together. They start playing kickball, freeze tag. Now, as kids, fundamentally, they're not known about a lot of the stuff in the world regarding interracial marriage or racism, because as kids, they have an innocent nature just by natural, you know, being born. They play kickball, they play freeze tag. It's not until they're taught by adults who have those views, and then when they instill those views in those kids grow up with it subconsciously, and then it starts to come out as they're older. But before they are rooted with that stuff, kids are naturally just playing kickball. Nobody cares about what color you are. Nobody cares who you like or who you have a crush on. All they are is just playing. They don't care about status. Kids don't even have the maturity to adjust to that. So my belief is, if you take a military kid who's fundamentally just naturally playing with people based on their values, right? And economic status. If you have a African diaspora kid and a non-African diaspora kid, and both of their parents are the same rank, they're making the same type of income, and they're coming up in the same type of situation where they feel, hey, nobody can relate to me, but I like this girl not because she's non-African, but I like her because I relate to her. We have the same values. Because guess what? A civilian kid has never moved around and lost their friends, been away from their family so much. They have a place that they can actually call one home. A civilian kid can't relate to that. So if you are with a military kid in a family for a majority of your life, and you guys move to same locations, and you see this person for a majority of your life, that person is going to have a experience with you beyond culture or someone's skin color. Okay. And when they have that experience, they're going to share that, and now your values become the center and focus of things. Can racism be an issue? Yes, it can. But guess what? most of the time these military families are so integrated and blended together, they're going to see values a lot more. They're going to value values a lot more because they're in a different environment. So I think your generalization of African diaspora people, when you basically say you can't respect no African diaspora person at all, despite what their situations are, it's hard to digest that. And I would want to learn a little bit more from you, but I would also want to share their perspective, because see, I myself am a military kid, and what you're talking about is not applicable to every single African diaspora person. Some African diaspora people move and they get orders and they meet somebody in another country and they marry. Now, is that woman marrying him because he has an economic status or she wants a green card? No, not all the time. That's stuff you hear on media, but I lived it. I've seen people simply just connect on values. In fact, a lot of these military soldiers are not making as much money because they're lower ranked and they're marrying women in another country that have more money than them. So it's really not about marrying down or marrying up. It's simply about connecting. So I just think that your views does apply to like celebrities mostly, or it can apply to people who self-hate, but I don't think it applies to every single person, because everybody is not built that way, and not everybody hates themselves. So they can love themselves and their culture. It's been proven. So I just wanted to put this other perspective out, because you, Dr. Umar Johnson, I do not believe are a product of a military family. So it's hard for you to speak on military families' experience, because if you didn't grow up in another country, if you didn't spend time in multiple countries, go to school in different countries, even though systemically there are some issues across the globe with racism, I'll give you that. But if you didn't have that experience, it's hard for you to relate or talk on that. So what you're talking about is a civilian life type of experience, or somebody who has not traveled much, or somebody who's in a different tax bracket or hate themselves. So your views on that can apply to those individuals, yes, but not the entire general million population of African diaspora people across the globe who are married or dating non-African diaspora people. It's hard to understand that. It's hard to receive what you're putting out here and say that all of them hate themselves and they can't earn your respect. So I hope this video gets to you. I will elaborate more on those experiences. I just named one. I have 1,000 that I can name, and it'll be challenging, I think, for your views to sit in with someone who comes from that type of tree. So I hope this video reaches out to you, man. I would love to have a conversation with you. I do think a lot of your views and a lot of the work that you're putting in are good stuff, and I certainly respect it. But some of your views, I feel like are generalizing a little bit too much. So in certain specific topics that you bring up. All right, I hope this video gets to you, man. Many blessings to everybody out there. Have a blessed day. Take care.